Evening, Patriots. Me again, Shannon Fox here, Devoted Patriots 2 channel, and I have got some news for you today. It has been an action-packed day. It's actually been an action-packed week. I took the day off yesterday from the politics, but jumped back on it this morning hot and heavy, and man, there is a lot happened in the last 48 hours. No doubt about it. I probably can't even remember it all. So I brought you several clips instead. Trump Jr. and Charlie Kirk are in Greenland, before I forget. I don't think they're over there negotiating a deal to buy Greenland, but I think they're over there discussing with the people that live in Greenland about how they need security. You're welcome to go check it out. Charlie Kirk and Don Jr. and a couple other conservative folks flew to Greenland, go hang out, and hopefully get us a base built over there before it's all said and done. That's something going to happen in the works later. Trump has been discussing what he may do with Greenland, if he's going to get it, how he's got to go about getting it. He's talking about maybe seizing the Panama Canal one way or another and throwing tariffs at everybody in every direction, including Trudeau, which got him to resign this week, which he's not out because it takes a few months for them to find somebody else to vote in. He knew that. That's why he did it this way. Otherwise, he'd have been out tomorrow. So he extended the life of his little bitty time left as governor of Canada. But got several things to bring to y'all today. Trump had a great speech today. He come out and answered questions before the press. He spoke for an hour and 14 minutes, and it was awesome. There were so many things that he said. He said more about what he's going to do and was more presidential in that speech in an hour and 14 minutes than Biden was the entire 4 years of his presidency. Straight to business, right on down the line, answered every question abruptly with the right answer, the answer I wanted to hear anyway. And I got several clips of that. You may have already seen the full interview. It's been out a few hours. But we got Mark Zuckerberg switching sides. That's crazy. You may have already heard some of that. And I've got a parody at the end that is hilarious. People making fun of Trudeau in Canada on Canadian comedy TV. It's golden. I laughed so hard I almost cried the first time. But I got several other things to talk to you about. A lot of it involves the Trump effect. What's going on right here among the shakeup of the new administration. Not even in office yet. I do have one crazy video for you about the J6er, so stick around. This woman claims, I'll just let you watch the video. It's just too crazy to talk about and speculate about already, so I won't get ahead of myself. Let's go ahead and listen to what Trump has to say. And I just want to say, after just listening to these, showing you these few clips of Trump speaking, America's back already, and the whole world knows it. Here we go.
Taxes / regulation. Working with the Republican majorities in Congress will cut taxes / regulations, raise wages, and boost incomes at a pace the world has not seen before, and certainly not from our country. We had a big chunk of it for the first 3 years prior to COVID coming in my administration. We had the greatest economy in history. We cut the most regulations in the history of our country, and I did that all in 4 years, by 4 times more than any other president cut. We did that in 4 years, and we were just getting started. We'll impose new tariffs so that the products on our stores will once again be stamped with those beautiful words, "Made in the USA." And we are not treated well, as you know, by Canada. Canada is subsidized to the tune of about $200 billion a year, plus other things. They don't essentially have a military. They have a very small military. They rely on our military. It's all fine, but, you know, they got to pay for that. It's very unfair. I have so many great friends. One of them is the great one, Wayne Gretzky. I said, run for prime minister. You'll win it'll take 2 seconds. But he said, well, am I going to run for prime minister or governor? You tell me. I said, I don't know. Let's make it governor. I like it better.
That's so good. I love it, folks. All right, folks. Let's jump into the next clip. There's so many things that Trump said that I think were just spot on. We'll go through a few of them. And Trump talked about changing the Gulf of Mexico today to the Gulf of America. Said Marjorie Taylor Greene has already got legislation she is building so it can be done officially, so that way we can get all maps and all government official stuff and declare it ours. Change the name, not a big deal. But at the same time, I think it's good. The Gulf of Mexico to me is Texas coast to Florida's coast, and so that's pretty much our stuff as far as I'm concerned. Maybe he should change the name. Sounds like an extra expense to me, but I ain't mad at him. Trump is doing things bigger and better than you can imagine. His legacy as president will be he was the first to do a lot of things, like keep us out of a war for 4 years, start the Space Force. So many things that will be part of Trump's legacy forever, even though we've had all these issues with the Democrats trying to take it away from him. America is back, and we are fixing to get into better times, better days, cheaper prices, and a better way of life. Thank God for Trump. He was at the right place at the right time for what we needed in America. No doubt about it.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate. It's appropriate. We're going to.
Now, I wonder, since Biden is going to try to take all of that Gulf of Mexico drilling rig oceanfront and tell us we can't drill there due to some legislation or due to some executive order he's trying to sign to basically prevent future drilling, make it harder for Trump to drill and open leases in the ocean. Maybe changing the name will have something to do with his ability to, I don't know how that works, logistics and things, but maybe there's a reason for changing the name. All right, just thinking. Trump said he's going to be able to reverse just about everything Biden has done executive order wise. He'll be able to just cancel Biden's executive orders. And that is such a good thing. I am so ready for that. All right, folks, we got another great clip here. Trump talking about Greenland and Panama.
Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold a vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this. We need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that
Greenland and the Panama Canal.
Trump says he's not going to say that he won't use the military. He says he'll probably have to resort to economic coercion, taxes, tariffs, penalties. There's so many things you can do to spike them, and he knows all the ins and outs of that, being a businessman for so long. Trump knows about regulations. Believe me, he does. That's why he was so effective as our first president, able to get our prices down. Now, this is a map somebody put up as a meme. I guess Benny Johnson put up. Welcome to the Gulf of America. We got United States and Mexico. They're calling it the New South Texas. Down here, the northern colonies, otherwise used to be known as Canada. And, of course, Greenland off to the right, which we'll have to rename that. That'll be New America or something. And there's Trump Tower right there. I don't know who put this together, but I thought this was pretty comical. And Alberta and Saskatchewan, statehood request pending. Somebody went all out on the meme. I thought that was pretty good. Here we go. we may expand our country. Who knows, folks? Now, this is a crazy story, and I don't know what to think, but they said they will be having proof tomorrow. So be looking for the other half of this story tomorrow on my channel if they do drop this information. It says explosive claim, and I'm going to leave it as a claim. Journalist Steve Baker alleges General Mark Milley approved heat and sound directive energy weapons during the 2020 riots. Claims he has evidence to prove it. Sound and energy weapons. These are energy. I forget the terminology for it, but they're mostly to disrupt your ear, disrupt your way of thinking, maybe mess with your vision. Some of these guns cause you to feel like you're burning up. Some of them actually disperse heat. They've got all kinds of maybe I don't know about with the Capitol Police, but I know they have these guns that flash like strobe lights that tend to make people act crazy, and even in some cases pass out, and other cases puke from strobe lights. It's part of this some of the technology our government's got. They don't tell us they've got, and they do use it against us occasionally. And in this particular case, in a bombshell revelation during an appearance on Sarah Gonzalez Unfiltered, investigative journalist Steve Baker has accused General Mark Milley, then chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, of authorizing the use of heat and sound-directed energy weapons. Sound-directed energy weapons against protesters during the riot. Okay. Now, 114 police officers were assaulted, is what they're saying. They said there was 19 deaths reported. I don't go with all them. I'm not even going to go there. Let's go on down and watch the video. All right.
You keep coming up with these scoops regarding January 6th. Do you have anything else that's coming up?
Yeah, pay very close attention to probably, I thought it was going to be out today, but we got a couple little things we got to clean up on a new article. And we know for a fact now that General Mark Milley, who is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, back under the previous Trump administration, we know that in June of 2020, during the riots in the Summer of Love here in D.C., he actually directed and ordered and authorized the use of both heat and sound directed energy weapons to be used against the protesters in that event. And we have the photography now to prove it, to back it up. And we're going to be coming out with that story tomorrow. And then we'll be launching a series off of that first article that will lead us to January 6th as well.
Which just heat and sound, which would do what?
Well, there depends upon which switch is used. It depends. If they are using sound energy weapons, they can be super audible or they can be sub-audible. If they're set to super audible, that's supposed to scare people away from a riot. If they're set to sub-audible, it can make people go crazy in their head and force them into violence. They call those agitation weapons.
So I'm going to go back and I'm going to rewind about 10 minutes ago when I said that I believe that January 6th was total entrapment by the United States government in order to weaponize their own agencies against their people. I'm just going to go ahead and rewind, and I'm going to say that again, and I'm going to go ahead and double down on that at this point, Steve.
You probably have valid reasons to feel the way you feel.
Damn. Yeah, we know it was a setup at this point. There's no doubt about it. Anybody that's been paying attention knows that Pelosi and Mayor Bowser and General Milley and so many people, and Adam Schiff, so many people were involved in creating this whole plot to take down Trump and the entire MAGA party. Cash Patel actually did an interview and discussed and laid it out exactly what the plan was, and I don't doubt it, not a bit. All right, folks, I got another clip for you. That's a weird one. I don't know what to think about that. That's true. It's a very good possibility. Our government does have every kind of weapon you can imagine. If they've got devices that they're not telling us about, which I'm sure they always have, how far have they come with technology more advanced than us. Are we 10 years behind? Are we 20 years behind? I mean, I'm sure the government had cell phones before we did. I'm sure the government had the first lasers before we did, before we could buy them. So many things that by the time the public gets a hold of them, they've been probably around 10, 20, 30 years. And I feel that's the same way with a lot of the technologies that our government uses for in warfare, especially. Now, this here, if you have not seen this is blow your socks off. Mark Zuckerberg is trying to get on the winning team. He announces sweeping changes to Facebook and Instagram and Thread. He said he wants to clean up, stop censoring so much and clean up the entire platform in several ways, including setting it up like X as far as community notes and letting the people actually fact check each other versus having somebody working in California decide if your content is too political for them or not. I have no love for Mark Zuckerberg. I think he's a tyrant. I think he's trying to get on the right side, considering he could go to jail for the way he interfered in the 2020 election. And I'll never feel any differently. But if he wants to turn Facebook into a free speech platform, that's a good thing. So I'm not going to hate on him for finally maybe waking up or being a snake in the grass and pretending to be somebody else. If he does anything productive, like he says he's going to do, involving getting rid of employees, moving to Texas, stop censoring, it sounds like a good plan. Let's hide and watch. I think he's probably bleeding listeners at this point and is afraid of Trump, so he wants to be on the winning side, so that's why he put this out. We're going to listen to the whole thing. It's 5 minutes long, but this is a crazy video if you haven't heard it. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below as to why he's doing this.
Hey everyone. I want to talk about something important today, because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last
5 years ago, he didn't believe in free speech at all. He was trying to censor Trump 5 years ago, if y'all remember.
Several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US.
That doesn't sound bad.
After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth.
That's a lie.
But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially.
He's blaming his fact checkers that work for his company for all of this censorship, cancellation, demonetization. It's easy to get bumped off over on Facebook if you don't already know. I hate Facebook just for that reason. It is run like a communist country as far as being able to have free speech over there. I don't do anything political on Facebook just because too many issues. So I just give it up. I don't want to support Mark Zuckerberg in any way. But he's lying again right here, and he's blaming his fact checkers. Do you think his fact checkers that work for him, do you think they just independently decide this one's worth deleting, this one should be canceled, let's suspend this account, let's put this account on hold? Maybe they do get the last word in it. But I'm sure they got guidelines. Like, no saying this, no saying that. And we remember when the government come in and backdoored Mark Zuckerberg and all these Twitter and all these platforms and decided that they were going to basically report to them. So everybody was not allowed to talk about elections. Everybody was not allowed to talk about COVID. Was not allowed to talk about side effects of things. So many things. Wasn't allowed to talk about the laptop. All that's changed now. But as a result, we were censored for a couple of years, or several years, really hard. And Mark Zuckerberg was part of the problem. He helped steal the election in 2020, and that's the way I feel about it. You spend $400 million in order to put drop boxes and pay lawyers in order to contest elections in 7 states. Yeah, you rigged it. But that's okay if that's the name of the game. We've got people like Elon Musk now that are willing to bankroll our elections as well. And so y'all wrote the book on this. Let's get back into it, though.
Especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. What started as a
So you're going to get the gender crap off of there? Immigration stuff off of there? Yeah, we don't need to see all that advertisement. We already know what the immigration situation is.
Movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far. So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms. Third, we're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now, we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high-severity violations. And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action. The problem is that the filters make mistakes, and they take down a lot of content that they shouldn't. So by dialing them back, we're going to dramatically reduce the amount of censorship on our platforms. We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content. The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down. Fourth, we're bringing back...
How do you accidentally take down a post? It's not accidental. There's no accidents when you delete somebody or suspend somebody's account. It's a willful, purposeful intent.
Civic content. For a while, the community asked to see less politics because it was making people stressed. So we stopped recommending these posts. But it feels like we're
Yeah, they shadow banned everybody over there. That's why everybody jumped off of there.
in a new era now. And we're starting to get feedback that people want to see this content again. So we're going to start phasing this back into Facebook, Instagram, and Threads while working to keep the communities friendly and positive. Fifth, we're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas. As we work to promote free expression, I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias of our teams. Finally,
Okay, here's the question, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. If you're going to move your headquarters out of California, like Elon did, like so many others did, and move to Texas, you'll probably move to Austin or somewhere, most likely. Move your headquarters here because he wants a different atmosphere of employees, basically. So is he going to get rid of his California employees and hire new employees here in Texas? Or is he going to pay to transport the same people to a new location just for optics, so it looks like he's actually doing something? I wonder. Oh, fun fact, his watch here, Kevin O'Leary earlier today said his watch is one of 3 handmade watches and is worth $900,000. Makes me sick.
we're going to work with President Trump to push back on governments around the world that are going after American companies and pushing to censor more.
He gonna help Trump? I forgot that part.
The US has the strongest constitutional protections for free expression in the world. Europe has an ever-increasing number of laws institutionalizing censorship and making it difficult to build anything innovative there. Latin American countries have secret courts that can order companies to quietly take things down. China has censored our apps from even working in the country. The only way that we can push back on this global trend is with the support of the US government. And that's why it's been so difficult over the past 4 years when even the US government has pushed for censorship. By going after us and other American companies, it has emboldened other governments to go even further. But now we have the opportunity to restore free expression, and I am excited to take it. It'll take time to get this right, and these are complex systems. They're never going to be perfect. There's also a lot of illegal stuff that we still need to work very hard to remove. But the bottom line is that after years of having our content moderation work focus primarily on removing content, it is time to focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our systems, and getting back to our roots about giving people voice.
Here's my question, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. Are you going to slow down the amount of people's ability to traffic other humans, transport other humans for trafficking? Same goes along with paraphernalia drugs. What about pornography? Instagram is a sickening place. I wouldn't go to Instagram for nothing in this world. I don't agree with. It's just a place for vanity. It's a place where people show. I see more. You get on Instagram, and within 5 minutes, you've seen more naked women than you want to see in a lifetime. It's just, I don't promote that at all. Nothing wrong with a good-looking woman, but at the same time, Mark Zuckerberg promotes human trafficking, selling of drugs like fentanyl, and the sex trade. Doesn't mind a bit that he's got 1 million women on Instagram checking their thing on video to make a living. I don't agree with that. If you want to go to a porn site and do that, that's where that stuff should be put. It shouldn't be on a major public social platform like that. Just my opinion. What are you going to do about that stuff? Are you going to do anything to stop the illegal activities that go on your sites that you facilitate and promote? Who knows? We'll see. I won't be getting on Facebook much. I go over there sometimes to do FaceTime with my kids. But other than that, I have no use for it. Mark Zuckerberg did me so wrong. Did us all so wrong. He tried to destroy our country because he thought he was on the winning team. There we go, folks. Got a couple of last video clips here for you. I know the video's getting kind of long. But here's Kash Patel's opinion on the Zuckerbucks.
Zuckerberg is a fraud, pretending to care about American democracy and the election. This guy spent $400 million last election cycle, and I don't care what he says. He is going to spend money somehow, some way in this election cycle. And let's put that aside. He owns one of the largest social media companies on earth in Facebook, Meta, and Instagram. I didn't hear the CEO and owner, Mark Zuckerberg, come out and say, I guarantee you my companies will not participate in censorship at the behest of the FBI or anyone else in the federal government, like we did in the last 2 elections, like we did with Hunter Biden's laptop, like we did with the 51 Intel letter. He could have said that, but he didn't because he wants it to happen. And as a sort of proactive, preemptive move to say, oh, I told you so, he came out to the media and said, oh, my bad, I'm sorry. But it doesn't matter to these guys because they're going to go past November 5th. And if they get their way and Harris is awarded the victory, they're just going to be like, nothing to see here. And if Donald Trump wins, they'll come back and say, see, our companies tried to comply. But it's.
This reply was actually a couple of weeks old. But he's right. He's a snake in the grass. Always has been, always will be. Got a couple more clips here for you folks. I got a funny parody at the end. Canadians making fun of Canadian comedy TV making fun of Trudeau. But here we got another great one as well. We'll just do the first part of the clip. This is Trump is threatening, you better give us our hostages back in the next 15 days or else. And one of the reporters asked him, what does or else mean? Here we go. This is a good one.
Do you think they're waiting for President Trump to take office?
No, I think they heard him loud and clear. Better get done by the inaugural.
But when you say all hell will be
Before I
paid,
take
or
office.
all hell must be paid if they don't release the hostages.
don't you?
Well-
Do I have to define it for you? Look, all
No, I know
hell
you're not
will
gonna
break out.
telegraph
If
what-
those hostages aren't back, I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East.
Can you elaborate?
And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is. And they should have given them back a long time. They should have never taken them. There should have never been the attack of October 7th. People forget that. But there was, and many people are killed. They're no longer hostages. I have people from Israel and others calling, begging me to get, we had also people there from the United States, just so you know. They're holding some so-called hostages from the U.S.
He's right. You need to not play with these terrorists. You need to tell them this is the deal. And they're either going to mind, they're either going to cough them up, or they're not. And if they're not, I believe Israel and the United States will collaborate to wiping these guys off the face of the map, just like they did with ISIS under Trump's term. Trump handled ISIS and Al-Qaeda pretty well. It didn't take him but a couple of weeks, I think. Last video of the day, folks. Last clip of the day, folks. This is a little bit of spoof comedy from Comedy TV in Canada. I bet Trudeau really hated being basically Saturday Night Live in his own country. At least the Canadians have a sense of humor. Here we go, folks. This is great.
Mr. President, I must admit I was worried that you were going to try to humiliate me.
I would never embarrass you, Justin. Are you kidding me?
Thank you, Donald.
Now I want to see you eat it.
Excuse me? The hamburger.
The Big Mac, the president of all burgers. I'm going to make you eat it like a dog with no hands.
Mr. President, I have self-respect.
Not so much, to be honest. I mean, he came like a dog, didn't he? He really did.
Mon ami, I come to you not on bended knee, but as an equal.
30% tariff.
My father taught me to never...
50% tariff.
We Canadians are a hearty lot.
60% tariff.
For Canada! I'm a hungry little puppy. I'm so hungry for my puppy chow.
All right, that's enough, Justin. I won't impose a tariff. I can't. I'm not even the president yet, am I? What a loser. Now let's DJ.
It's fun to stay at the
YMCA. I love it, folks. Everybody, hope you're having a great day. I know it's Monday, but it's almost over. I guess it's Tuesday already. Wow. Time flies. Like, subscribe, and share, vote Patriots. Hopefully everybody's having a great day.